We are backstage right now. We are about to begin with Ability MKE Now. We got just under 10 seconds, so stand by. Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff. Ability MKE Now is where we are dedicated to inclusion, connection, community, bringing people together and being relevant to everybody. That's exactly what we do here, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our everyday lives. We all have different and unique abilities, and that is what we celebrate. Here at Ability MKE Now, we celebrate the ability in all of us. And joining me today is my co host, Michael Martin Hummel. Michael is a writer, speaker, and podcaster dedicated to bridging the gap between disabled and able-bodied communities. Michael, it is so good to have you here. How you doing?
Good to see you.
So good to see you. And I've got to ask, how did your big event go last weekend?
It went well. Actually, because I'm still in the hospital, I did it outside because that's the quietest area in the whole place, and I didn't want anything to distract it. But went well.
And remind us what the topic was and how many
I
speakers you had.
put and I had six.
And it was six speakers on the topic of spina bifida. And this again is stories
This
of
is, stories of diversity.
stories of diversity. I absolutely love what you do. And I know you said you're going to be taking a bit of a break here for a couple months and kicking it back in the fall. So we'll be standing by for when that is coming around next.
Yeah.
So, and I am so excited for the guest we have joining us today. Randy Wheeler is the owner of Wheeler Coaching. He helps individuals and teams enhance leadership, communication, and teamwork. He holds a master's degree in organizational leadership and is a Maxwell Leadership Certified DISC consultant and working genius facilitator. As an executive program leader with Maxwell Leadership, he combines his expertise and resources to sharpen focus, clarify strategy, and drive results. For over a decade, Randy has trained thousands across the US and developed leaders internationally in countries like Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Argentina, and Panama. His past clients include Fortune 500 companies, nonprofits, educational organizations, as well as numerous small and mid-sized businesses. I am so excited to have Randy joining us here today. Randy, welcome. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here today.
So glad to have you. And so, my goodness, you are right in that sweet spot of that the whole topic of leadership and personality. And I gotta ask, so how did you get into the whole realm of where you are?
So I started off in a totally different arena. I started off in the sports performance arena. I was working with athletes, and early on in the first couple of years, I was like, why am I doing this? And not because I didn't like it, it's just, we all kind of ask at some point, why are we doing the thing we're doing? And the answer was, hey, I want to help them to develop the discipline and responsibility to accomplish a goal and become better leaders at whatever they do. And I did that for many years, went back to school, got a master's in organizational leadership. My wife's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" And I'm like, "I'll let you know." And then fast forward, and I learned about the a team called the Maxwell Leadership Team, and that Maxwell Leadership Certified Team, and that gave me what I call a practical MBA in how to develop a business in training leaders. And why I do what I do is like if because I was doing that where I was, but if I could help people lead better at work, then they can lead better at home, transform homes, community and communities. And if I can help the next generation see that they're not just leaders for tomorrow, but they're leaders today, then that's going to transform communities, transform schools. So everything, John Maxwell says it, and I agree with it. Everything rises and falls on leadership, and if I can help people lead better, then and lead from the right heart, transformation's going to occur, and that's going to be a powerful thing.
I absolutely love where you've gone with this. And yeah, John Maxwell, what an amazing individual. I've actually had the privilege of hearing him multiple times, oh gosh, 25 years ago at some conferences that we were at. And he is amazing. The leadership principles and his style of delivery so that you can really relate to what he is presenting and makes it real. And that's what I absolutely have glommed onto all the things around him. And I know there was a piece about DISC as well that was mentioned in your intro, and that's with Dr. Rome, I believe.
No, no, it's actually through the Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. We have a DISC certification program, and what's
Ah,
unique about it is there's a piece in it that looks at 7 different leadership areas and highlights that leadership aspect of it. And hey, what are your strengths and what are the areas that maybe you need to fill gaps in and put people around you that are strong or you're weak, because it's not about if we function in our strengths, whatever it is, if we function in our strengths and grow in our strengths, we're going to go further faster and then neutralize our weaknesses by building a team around us or just, creating systems to overcome them or whatever it is. So yeah, that's that, but that helps them understand their communication style, helps them understand their looks at their leadership style. I have various approaches that report the feedback that can come out. There's like an entrepreneur one that shows their sales style as well. I have 3 boys that are going to be 21, 19, and 16, and each of them have taken our college and career one, which helps them understand their communication style, their learning style, their kind of the values that are important to them, gives them a list of possible careers and some things to do to help them understand their best learning environments. It's a great tool to help you understand yourself, because when we understand ourselves, I mean, I don't know, but the hardest person for me to lead is me. And the better
oh
I
yeah.
understand me, the better I'm going to be able to lead me. And if I can lead myself better, I probably am going to be better at leading other people. But I'm definitely the hardest person to lead.
And I think we can all relate to that. And actually, as you're saying, ages, our daughter's 17, so we're right in that sweet spot too of what kind of career, where we go, and what's next, and that there is such a tool. I know there's lots of different kinds of things out there, but knowing something with that whole Maxwell program that's available, I was unaware of that. I'm gonna have to look into that myself because that would be something I would trust. I've always thought very highly of that everything that John Maxwell does. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Michael, go ahead. Oh, you got to unmute though. There we go.
Yeah, I was just curious, what started you being interested in leadership?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, well, first, when I was early in my career, early, like the first time I heard John live was like very beginning of my professional career. But I also remember I started off my career in a faith-based world, and I'm sitting across from my leader, and he just kind of called out in me. He called out that he saw that I was a good leader and had that ability, and then I can't pinpoint an exact time or place other than that, but and also going back to kind of the personality or kind of behavior style. I naturally have that style that likes to take charge. I don't have to be in charge, but I lean towards it. I'm working on my controllingness and desire to be in control. So I think there's a natural inclination for me to be comfortable with leading, but I also see when there's a gap in
Mhm.
leadership that all kinds of things are going wrong, you know.
I'm I'm more laid back, so I've always been a follower,
It-
and
I-
like if I need to be a leader, I can, but I gravitate more toward like having someone be in charge.
yeah. There's a to that follower thing, there was a fat I had to take a course when I got my master's, and it was a course all about followership. And we were all looking at each other. We're like, why do we have to take this? This is silly, you know. And I look back, and it was really a very impactful course because, well, first of all, I don't think we can lead well if we can't follow well. Because you know, I'm comfortable leading, but I'm also comfortable following. Because if you have everybody wanting to be a leader, then that's just chaos, just like if you don't have anybody leading. But
Well,
this, and
I think you need what you need is the ability to adapt and like understand that other people can make decisions that like you haven't made.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I got to be able to follow the like. If I'm at the doctor's office, I better not be trying to tell the doctor what to do, or to your point, I'm gonna have a world of problems. Or if I'm, I trust the guy that, helps me with financial planning because he's the expert in it. I mean, but where this idea of following that I learned is a kind of a twist on it, but it's this ability. There's people that they don't want to lead, but they're bought in to whatever it is. So let's say we all started a business of apple picking, and one of us is in charge of the apple picking business. One of us is just like, I'll just go pick the apples. And one of us is like, so the apple picker is kind of a role player, but then the person that is like a follower, but like, I don't want to lead the apple picking business. Let's say Sue's the person that's like, I don't want to lead it, but I'm all in on our apple picking business. Hey, I got some ideas from for you, Michael, because you're the one that started the business. Here's some ideas, but I'm not gonna necessarily lead them, but I will do whatever I can to make sure that idea comes to fruition and everything. So that kind of follower brings value to the cause of apple picking, but they're like, I don't want to be in charge. And they tend to have quite a lot of influence too, but they're all in with whatever the team's about. And I thought that was really, really interesting and fascinating that there's a place for a follower, that you can be a follower, but you have that influence because leadership is simply influence. You have that influence, but you may be like, I'm good. I'm a team player, but have you thought about this? Have you considered this? And people need that, and they need it out of the followers.
Mm. And I love that because that truly is that essence of team where, I think you were saying earlier about working towards or working with your strengths and being able to make the most of what you bring to the table. And because we all bring something a little different. And if we can enhance that piece and make the most of what we bring, that's what makes us, I think what makes a team strong then, because I don't have all the things, and none of us can do it all ourselves. So being able to bring all of our best together, I like that concept a lot.
Yeah, we need that combination of, you need the old, what is it? You don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
We need both. We need leaders, we need followers, but and I would suggest we got to learn how to follow, and in the process of following, we'll learn how to lead more effectively. Because we may see, I can think of leaders that I've had that I'm like, I know I'm not gonna be like that. And then there's other leaders, it's like, oh, I want to be like that, but But even in the position of following, I'm going to suggest we're still leading because we're always influencing someone. Unless we're just all alone and whatever and living like a monk in a solo monk in the middle of nowhere in the desert, we're always influencing somebody. So whether it's I'm out front and leading the charge, or I'm following the guy or gal out front and we're working together, but I might have some ideas and suggestions that is going to help our cause. And that's being a follower that's using their influence in a good way to help the overall cause, to give a voice to people that need a voice.
Mm, love that. Well, so as you've gone through this journey of learning about leadership and the different aspects of it, is there anything that you've come across that you found super impactful for yourself? Something that really stood out like, oh, that nugget, that's been a big thing for you, and maybe it's been something that's been able to be a big source of impact on others around you.
Th- This is something I think and I alluded to it already. I'm processing, and one day I think it's going to end up being a book or something. But the idea of control and working with different leaders and just my own tension of what can I control, where do we need controls, and where am I being controlling? Multiple leaders I'll talk to when I'm working one-on-one with leaders or in groups, there comes a point we got to let go. And in order to lead effectively, we got to let go. I mean, one of the harder areas of, if not the hardest area of my life to lead is in my family. And from the moment my children were born, it's a constant letting go. And now with children that are in the college stage of life, it's like, well, okay, I gotta let go. I gotta let go. And at work, it's like if, for example, they started the business or they started the project or whatever, at some point for it to grow, we gotta let go. And then there's all the things with that. There's this crisis of like, if my worth is tied to what I'm holding on to, then it creates a whole nother challenge and we grab it back and everything. So all that to say, I don't I think it's because I'm still in process with it, but this idea, one of the things is the idea of what place does control have in my as a leader? Because you have to have controls, but being controlling creates problems. The
Mhm.
second thing, one of my favorite book of John Maxwell's, I've read lots of different books, different authors, but my favorite ones of his is an older book. It's called Failing Forward. And
Love that one.
that unlocked for me the idea of failure and just shifted my thinking. He's actually written three books on the topic. He just came out with a new one on that topic. But, you know, uh, being a recovering perfectionist, failure is seeing in this newest one, he talks about how success and failure go hand in hand and they're kind of friends with each other. They got to both be there and just processing that and seeing, okay, I'm gonna fail. When I was a strength coach, I remember I was with a team and the team won the final game of the season, so they're a championship team. And it just dawned on me. I was like, oh, every other team except for one has to learn how to deal with a loss at the end of the season. Like, that's life.
Yeah.
Failure is part of life, and challenge is part of life. And how are we going to handle that part of life? I mean, these two things almost go hand in hand because we can't control everything. And we got to just let go. And depending on one's perspective of life and the world, maybe they're like, hey, I mean, I'm a person of faith. It's not for everybody, whatever, but I believe there's somebody bigger than me in charge. So there is a reason, even though I don't understand it in the moment. And that helps me manage that tension, but it doesn't make it feel easier. still stinks in the moment. The failure stinks, the chaos of no control stinks. And it all circles back to as leaders, we gotta be aware of ourselves and be able to lead ourselves. And the more aware we are of ourselves and can lead ourselves better, the more healthy a team we can grow that can respond and that we can respond in healthy ways when things feel chaotic and out of control, i.e., like 2020.
Yep. Well, oh yeah, the thing, that bottom line that we can all relate to.
Right?
It's kind of a reset button in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned the book Failing Forward,
Yeah.
and that honestly is one that I still to this day, there was one line in there that has stuck with me hard. The whole concept of, we're all gonna fail, we're all gonna fall down, but while you're down there, pick something up. That one, I
Mhm.
can still hear his voice saying that, and it's like, oh, you're right. You're very, you can make the most of wherever you're at, and make it be what you need it to be so that you can move forward and keep failing forward. And that was, I don't know why that one hit me hard, but it did, and in a good way, right? That made a difference in my corner of the world.
Yeah, he
I've
said
never
in
read any of his books.
pardon?
I've never read any of his books.
Yet. No, well, I will I personally,
You give me a topic, and I bet I could recommend a book for you.
I
That
would
that
help like failure is a good one. Like I don't like two things that I'm hard on is failure and just procrastination. Just starting. Those,
failure and procrastination.
those are two
So
biggies for so many.
yeah.
yeah, he Today Matters is a really good one. And then I'd go to Failing Forward, or Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. In that one, that's his second book on failure, and there's a principle he talks about bouncing or splatting. Like how do I respond to a failure? Do I bounce? I call it, are we Tigger or are we Eeyore? Are we Tigger and we just bounce back, or are we Eeyore and we mope and just, oh man, and that one has stuck with me just from that book, that like I gotta be a Tigger. I'm not naturally a Tigger. Some people are naturally Tiggers. They're just like, oh, okay, it'll all work out. I I'll just have this great party that no one wants to attend, which is a pity party. And I'll get stuck in the pit, and I got to learn how to bounce back. So, I mean, it's just the challenge of leading ourselves. It all gets back to that.
Well, I gotta ask now. I know you've written some books too. Can you tell us a bit about what you have done?
Yeah, I've written a few books that some of those books just have come out of my own journey, and they're books that are resources to help people. One came early on called When I'm Afraid, and that's just kind of a 52 session journey of just mindset book. Some of them are, one's called I Am Worthy, which is just about kind of how you see yourself. Another 52-day or 52-week, like once a week journey, to help people with how they see themselves. That one's a little more geared towards to students. And then I've written a few books on one, Build, Engage, Lead is about building teams, building healthy teams, and Leadership 101 is just making leadership theory really basic. And my first one was 25 ways to win better, to lead better at work and home. So they're they're all like out on Amazon or whatever. So
Awesome. Oh, I love it. And again, this is Randy Wheeler that is joining us, and all of these wonderful things that you have had the opportunity to do. And I know you're a speaker as well. Can you tell us a bit about what that's been like and where you find yourself in front of others?
yeah, a lot of my speaking is a means to just be able to have opportunities to work more deeply with organizations. I've had the opportunity to speak with multiple times at the Maxwell Leadership Conference. I've gotten to just basically kind of share with peers on different things. I have spoken to coaches, sport coaches, and that was right after I released the Lead Like a Champion, which is a book for building leaders in sports. And then I'll go into different organizations, and some of that speaking is just through the method of doing workshops and training versus a keynote or anything like that. More of what I do is building the teams through training and through one-on-one coaching. Um, versus traveling all. I didn't start the business so I'd be on a plane all the time and away from my three boys and my wife. You know, now as the youngest gets older, we'll see how life evolves and see what happens with everything. Because I want to help as many people as I can be better leaders so they can transform homes and communities.
I actually, this topic hits home for me because I know I've always been just like a magnet towards anything that's like a leadership topic or any way that I can personally grow in where I am. And I don't know what it is about that whole concept. I have no idea why that always has sparked an interest, but a lot of what you've mentioned, I'm like, I'm totally relating to, and I love the journey that you've been on. This is, to me, is just so much fun because there, what better can you do than improve yourself so that you can make a difference and a better situation for you and those around you, right? Because you can't expect people around you to be better when you're not taking care of your own space, right? So
Yes.
I love what you're doing. And I gotta ask then, what is, of all the pieces that go into what you do, what is the most rewarding for you? What do you enjoy the most?
This is, I'll give you two answers. One is to see or to hear transformation. So I can think of a couple different clients. One was in the financial sector, working one-on-one with him, and just was always on, always on, always on. Long story short, we were working during our time together, just helping him get clear on his business. And ultimately, what it led to is he was able to unplug from work so he could be more engaged with his family because he had like three kids under the age of 5, and then another client that we're doing communication workshops, doing all these things, team building and everything with their team, and he's just one of many. And as we met one-on-one, he's just like, as I've applied what we've been talking about, it's changed how I lead at work, and it's also impacted me at home. And just to hear that transformation has been really rewarding. And anytime I'm able to I have a heart for the next generation. So anytime I'm able to serve the next generation during April and October, specifically because of the Maxwell leadership, we do a thing called the Global Youth Initiative. I'll go in and serve youth and teach them leadership training principles at no cost to them, and just I have a heart for the next generation. Always have, probably always will, and that's always a huge thing because they're not just leaders for tomorrow, they're today's leaders. Think of any movement that's happened in the world. It's been from the next generation. And if I can help them see how to be transformational leaders and not transactional leaders, just like the adults I work with, then that's very rewarding.
And I absolutely love that. This again has been Randy Wheeler joining us today. My name is Sue Roscoff. For all of us here with Ability MKE Now on River West Radio, as always, we thank you.